Hi, my name is Gillian and welcome back to my channel. I offer spiritual growth for the rebel soul, for the person that wants it all and knows they can have it all. From relationships to knowing themselves at a deep, profound level, to finding prosperity and abundance through living their dharma and being of service to the world. I help you become who you truly are and to live authentically and as expressionately as you are literally meant to do. In today's episode, we are going to touch on the topic of why so many spiritual women and men, I don't want to exclude men because I actually have a lot of male clients who also fit into this category. So let's just say people, okay? Why are so many spiritual people, people that have awakened, people that have done their inner healing work, why so many are single? Now, there's a few different reasons for this, but when you spiritually awaken, you have this desire to have the most deepest, authentic connections and to express yourself freely with transparency and vulnerability. Now, of course, depending on where you are in your spiritual journey, you're still going to come up with your particular roadblocks with these areas. But for the most part, that's what we crave. It's like we have this awakening where our eyes are open and we realize how we've been living in mediocrity, how we have not been truly heard and seen and understood and felt in our relationships, and how much of a lonely place that is. How we have been putting everyone else's needs before ours, and we've come to this place where we're challenging the status quo, and we are realizing that relationships are a gateway to spiritual enlightenment. They're a gateway for our growth. They are the most beautiful and profound place that we can develop ourselves spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically, all of these areas through our most intimate relationships. And when we awaken, when we have done the inner work on ourselves as a conscious, self-aware, spiritual person, those old constructs of accepting or settling for less just don't feel aligned anymore. Because you've done so much inner work on yourself, you have raised your frequency, you've raised your vibration to a point where you just can't have those shallow level conversations, those shallow level friendships, relationships in your life. Like, you are seeking the deepest form of profound meaning and knowing of who you are and how you are in relationships. And this is why so many spiritual people, so many people after they awaken or do the inner work are single. Like, you get to a point where you know you can have it all. You've got to a point where you've done a lot of the inner deep healing work to start to recognize and heal and move through certain relationship patterns, certain things that have been coming up in your life, certain emotions or traumatic events that you didn't know impacted you. You've started to do the inner healing work to come back to a place of true authenticity, where the mask that you were once wearing, the ego, the personality, is now kind of falling away, and you're questioning everything. You're questioning the status quo, and you are starting to go against the grain around what relationship actually means to you. We have been shown all these role models of what relationships are, and they are not healthy. They're dysfunctional. They are not fulfilling the true capability of what a relationship actually is. Because we can transcend ourselves, we can ascend through sex, through our relationships, through love, but that takes a deep level of inner work to get to that place where we can come into union with another who is also at that level of consciousness, to transcend ourselves, to transcend our pain, to heal, to reach higher levels of consciousness. We can do all of that in relationships, but there are so many people that aren't there. They're not as far on their journey as you are, let's say. So obviously, when you've done a lot of work in yourself, to find that equal match can be very challenging for a lot of people that are spiritual or conscious or self-aware or awakened. And this is why we find a lot that are single. Now, we have kind of two categories. We have the category of, and this is like, these are the categories that I work with my clients. We have the category of the person that is single, the person that has chosen to step away from dating so they can really heal and work on themselves. They have got to a point where they realized that they're the common denominator in all of their relationships, in choosing, accepting the relationships and behavior and the mirrors that have been shown to them in relationships. And they have discovered that many of their relationships or past relationships have been unfulfilling. Like, they have still felt alone, or they haven't had their needs met. They haven't had that commitment. They haven't had that level of emotional intelligence. They haven't felt heard, seen, or understood. So they have taken a step away from relationship. Potentially they're still working through some heartbreak and understanding the lessons that their ex-relationships were here to show them. Because unless we learn the lessons, we will keep repeating them by meeting the same person in a different body. So perhaps this is you. Perhaps you have taken the time away from dating and consciously decided to work on yourself. Perhaps you know that entangling your energy with anyone else's field right now is not going to be conducive to you reaching your own goals. And you've noticed the places that your needs weren't met. You noticed the things that didn't match your expectations with your ex-partners, and you have consciously decided to go on a healing journey to work on those and to give you yourself those things that you didn't get. So whether you didn't get commitment, whether you didn't get authentic communication, you are now at a place where you're looking at, okay, where in myself can I give myself that? Where am I still blocked, and why am I still attracting that? Where am I not fully committing to my dreams, my purpose, being of service to the world? Where am I still outsourcing my happiness, my stability, and my safety to other people to try and make me happy and fulfilled, when actually it's an internal job? So maybe this is you. Maybe this is where you're at with your spiritual and relationship journey, and you're still working through things, and you know that it isn't right to entangle your energy because you understand the spiritual nature of sex and energy, and how when we are in relationship with someone, especially at an intimate level, how much our energy gets entangled and how much we can absorb from that other person that not only influences and impacts our relationships, but also our thoughts, our beliefs, our well-being, and our behaviors. So you know that until you have worked through some of your old stuff, have cleared out some of the baggage that you have from your past experiences and past relationships, that you are actually not ready to throw yourself into a new relationship, because you also know that relationships take work. And the level of relationship that you know that you want this earth-shattering, cosmic connection, soulmate, like passionate, fiery, but also supportive and understanding and compassionate and harmonizing relationship with someone. You want all of those things. And you know that without doing this inner work on yourself, that you are not going to be a match for someone that can also hold space for that level of relationship. You also know that potentially the stuff that you still need to work on to be able to hold this level of reverence and devotion that it takes to have this type of relationship. And you are going against the grain because so many people settle. So many people settle for like the mediocre, where they're not fully happy, where they're happy sometimes, where they're outsourcing their fulfillment because they're in a relationship. But you know that isn't going to fulfill you. You know that you have to show up as your most authentic self. You have to be able to express your needs and emotions and have like difficult conversations, because even the most profound cosmic connection and soulmate relationship, there are still going to be challenges that are thrown at you, but you need to be able to have the emotional resilience to handle those with a level of maturity so that you're not getting triggered. You need to be able to understand your partner at a deep level so you can have these mature conversations and hold them in their safety. Because A lot of the time that we're in relationship, when things don't work out, we're both reacting from a place of our own childhood wounds. And that's why so many people that are currently in relationships that have started to awaken are questioning their relationship. I'm working with so many people that are at crossroads around their current relationship. And people that have been in the relationship and raised a family, been together for like 30 plus years. When you awaken, it's like you want to jump out your skin when you know that you deserve more. And perhaps your partner isn't able to meet you where you are now. Perhaps they aren't able to see and feel and have that level of emotional communication and partnership that you know you want. Like, it's like something has awakened inside you, and you you can't go back to being asleep. It's like the shutters have risen, and you are not willing to put up with anything that is not fully in alignment with your truest expression and the type of relationship and communication that you need. And like, this is a really, I want to preface this as a really challenging place for people that have been in relationship, that are in relationship for a long time. And you know, you have so much intertwined with this person, like finances, house, children, whatever. And this isn't a decision that needs to be made lightly. Like, there are definitely things that can be done to try and navigate the new awakening that you've had, and with your partner essentially trying to catch up. And what I say to clients that are in this position is, potentially there's new ways that you can try and communicate, because sometimes our partner is just, they don't have the skills to be able to relate to you in the new way that you want. Like, you guys have potentially had this relationship that has been like shallowly unfulfilling, and where you actually don't know each other. Because honestly, most relationships, I would say 98% of relationships, there's no level of intimacy. Like, couples do not know each other at an intimate level. You could be married for 60 years and don't know who your partner is, because you don't have that ability to go to those depths. And it isn't because you don't want to, it's because that's been your role models from your parents and your grandparents, and and the things that you've learned about what relationships are. Like, humanity, all of us don't have good relationship skills to be able to hold that person in their vulnerability when they are afraid to open up emotionally, because they've been taught that, you know, you're not supposed to express your feelings, you're not supposed to be vulnerable, it's not safe to do so. So when you're in a relationship, you're not only working with your own shadows, you're also trying to navigate your partner's shadows. And when you don't have that level of self-awareness about how you're both showing up, and then you're going into the blame and projection game, you're never going to have a successful relationship. So that's why understanding, not only clearing your own relationship blocks and beliefs and past traumas, also learning key relationship skills, key skills around communication, around empathy and compassion, and understanding like the perspective of your partner can really shift and change the dynamic of your relationship to a point where you can come to a place of equilibrium. So it isn't a case of, okay, well, I just need to leave because this person cannot meet me where I need to be met in relationship. And to these people that are at this crossroads in the relationship, I will always give, like, when I channel, the suggestions that are channeled through to them about how they can enhance a relationship, or how they can communicate in a different way, how they can work with their partner's love languages and their love languages. Because a lot of it is how we communicate, and even just shifting the nuances of things can shift the dynamic of that person feeling safe to open up and knowing what they are able to do and how they can show you love versus how you expect to be shown. Understanding all of that is a real key area of our developing our relationship skills, and also learning to give themselves what they need. Like, for people that have been in relationships for a long time or even a short time, for a lot of the empathic, beautiful people that have gone down their spiritual journey and have explored that and know that that is the key to their happiness and fulfillment, they oftentimes think about other people's needs before theirs. They could be very empathic, very clairsentient. So for a lot of people that are conscious and self-aware and like our spiritual women or men, you put your other people's needs above your own. And this is a pattern that you've probably been doing for many, many years. So being able to, again, like for some people, they don't even know what they need. They don't actually know what they need from their partner, and they don't know how to give that to themselves. So again, this is something that I do when I work with clients, is all of these things that are channeled to understand where are their relationship skills, what blocks do we need to clear, where do we need to clean up their energetic management and discernment, and then also like what is the aligned action that they need to take, like how can they tune into their heart and their soul to get clarity on a lot of these big decisions that they have to make, you know, like, do I leave or do I stay? Like, all of these factors go into it when you're making such a huge decision. And when you are so disconnected to your own self and your own intuition, and you are looking at everyone's needs above your own, then you are feeling stuck. Like, this is why so many people feel alone when they're even in relationship. You could be in a relationship but feel so desperately alone because you are not known by your partner. And this isn't just our intimate relationships, this is every relationship. If the people that you're interacting with and yourself don't have the key relationship skills, aren't able to hold themselves in vulnerability, they're never going to be able to hold someone else. And this is why doing this relationship work is so freaking key to us having the most, like, as I said, soul-shattering, cosmic, sexy love, devotion, like worship that I know you want out of relationship. Like, this is what conscious relationships are. Most people, as I said, are living in very unconscious relationships. And if you're a spiritual person, if you have awoken, there's no way that you can have that now. So again, you're either single and you might be told by people, if that is you, that instead of, oh, why are you still single? Because a lot of people get that. Like, oh, you're such a catch. Why are you still single? You might get, after someone knows you and knows the level of awareness that you have and how much you trust yourself and how much you give yourself the love and fulfill your own needs, people might start saying to you, it must be hard for you to meet people. And let that sink in. To go, people have recognized how conscious you are, how much you know yourself, how much you are not willing to settle like so many people do in the relationships. To them now saying and recognizing and feeling, wow, I recognize that there's not a lot of people like you. There's not a lot of people that have devoted themselves to becoming the most authentic version of themselves, to knowing what they truly worth. And I see that most people settle, and most people are actually unhappy, whether they're single or in relationships. And I can see that you will not accept anything less. So it must be hard for you to meet someone. And I don't want to give life to this statement, but because there are so many people that are awakening. There are so many people that are on this spiritual journey and do understand that they have been living in darkness, and they have been living and operating in relationships from a place of pain rather than from a place of ascension and love and compassion. And they realize, like, wow, I can see now what is possible within my relationships. I can now see what is available to me, and because I'm giving that to myself. Like, when we start to give ourselves that love and follow our own true path and live authentically, then we just it's like we just can't accept anything. We can't accept anything than, you know, what we truly know we deserve, which is this most ecstatic, beautiful relationship with someone that is as equally at our frequency and is equally as conscious as we are. Like, we can smell bullshit, you know? And this is a big thing when you start to awaken and you start to heal yourself and develop like your intuitive gifts also, which is a huge part of relationships. Like the conscious relationship that you want, you need to have activated your intuition, your compassion, your empathy, like, and have strong boundaries, because that's how this beautiful conscious relationship will work. And when you do that, you are no longer believing people's words over their energy. And I don't even want to say believing people's words over their actions, because some people's actions can match their words and then change. It's actually you're able to tune into someone's energy to know if they're a match for you or not. So you can cut out the BS of like the dating world, of going on all these dates or falling for or exploring people that are not in alignment with you just because they can speak a good game. And this is a big thing that I also see within the spiritual community is, for those spiritual women and men that are out there dating, they may meet people that can intellectually conversate about spiritual topics or about emotional vulnerability or about healing. They can talk a good game and get it from an intellectual level, but they have not embodied anything. And again, you may fall for the talk and the appearance of, oh my God, this is a conscious person, this is a conscious man, this is a conscious woman, there's so much alignment here, there's signs, etc. But actually, as time goes on, you realize, oh my God, none of that was embodied because of how they're behaving, of how they're reacting, of all of this stuff that is just so out of alignment. And again, this is something that I'm so passionate to work with my clients on, to help them understand, like, especially if whether they're single or in relationships, it doesn't really matter. It's like, how can you develop the tools and the skills to be able to, one, stay in your truth and recognize a perfect alignment for you, but also to, firstly, not even have those misaligned people show up in the first place. Because the more work that you do, you won't even. And this is something I said as well. It's like, there's manifestation teachers out there that are like, once you do this manifestation work, or once you do your inner healing work, you become a magnet to all of these men and women and whatever. That's bullshit. That is bullshit, because the more work that you do on yourself, the less people can see you, because you are not vibrating at the frequency, the energy band, the level of consciousness, the love, the compassion that's in your heart at the same as most people. So the people that used to clock you and see you when you were vibrating at low frequencies, when you had negative patterning, when you had negative beliefs, when you had self-worth issues, when when you're in your humanness, those people, it's like you could walk past them and they won't even see you. That's the truth. Like, that is the myth that I am like busting right here. Like, they actually won't even see you. And of course you're going to get tests and stuff along the way. That's natural. But learning these skills, and this is what I teach with my my unique method and framework, which is all around developing the skills and abilities and your own unique gifts, like enhancing those within relationships, clearing your blocks on all levels, energetic, emotional, mental, like all the things that are there, that are hidden, that are actually the ones that are creating these relationship dynamics and attracting these patterns and replaying these patterns. Then energy management, like, where are you leaking energy? Where are you still connected to your ex energetically? Where have you been drained from your life force? Where are you not protecting yourself? Were you not connecting to your own soul and intuition? Where are you where do you have crap boundaries? Where are you letting people walk all over you? Where are you not able to discern who is aligned and who isn't? We're learning that, because that's so important. And then being able to tune into yourself, being able to move from this place of like stress around your relationships, Whether that be, oh, I have to make a decision if I'm going to stay or go, or stress that you can't find your person. Like, how can we move from a place of stress to stillness so that you're able to communicate with your own soul, so that you're able to get clarity, so you can make aligned actions, so you can get the direction, so you can make those decisions and those choices? Because we all have to make decisions and choices when it comes to our relationships. Even if it's like, what are we going to have for dinner? We got to make choices. So having the ability to connect with our own internal wisdom instead of being waylaid by the noise and the chaos of everyone else, to know what actually is right for us in our relationships, in every step of our relationship, and every iteration of our relationship, is so key. Is so key, guys. Anyway, I'm sweating. So I get very passionate about this. And this is why I get so passionate about it, because this is the work that I do. It's like there are 3 pillars in how I work, and my unique view around the spiritual path and our path to happiness, fulfillment, ascension are these 3 pillars. And without these 3 pillars, you are not going to be fully fulfilled. And that's why I help my clients to activate and create these 3 pillars. So the first is the self, is healing the self, is knowing the self deeply. The second is being good in relationships. And the third is to be of service to the world by living your dharma. And that will attract financial abundance and prosperity. Without all of these pillars, you have an unstable foundation to your home, to your empire, to your internal and external being. You know, if you are just chasing money and not being of service, and your relationships are dog shit, then you've got a shaky foundation. If you actually don't know yourself, and you're trying to date, and you're trying to go into a relationship, and you haven't healed yourself, then you're gonna have crap relationships. Do you see how they're all interlinked? And this is my unique framework, my 3 pillars of the things that I help people with, and my particular offers. Because as we move through this spiritual journey on our way to ascension, we have aspirations to develop ourselves in all of these areas. And that is the only way that we will reach true fulfillment in our lives. And if that's what you're looking for, if you want to live your authentic self, and you're not afraid to go against the grain, you're not afraid to say no to conventional relationships, and you want to create a relationship and do it your way and go against what everyone else says, then let's chat. I think I'm the girl for you. Anyway, my loves, I have had so much fun on this one, and I hope you have the most beautiful rest of your day or night wherever you are in the world. And if you want to check out my offerings or how to work with me, all the details will be below in the description and the show notes. And apart from that, I bid you adieu, and I love you guys so much. You deserve the most amazing, cosmic, friggin' soul-shattering love, and don't let anyone tell you any different. You got it. You got this. You got it. See you later, guys.